Good morning students. In last video lecture we seen the poem The Inchcape Rock. In that video I'll give the introduction of poet and I read the poem. In this video lecture I'll explain each and every stanza and more information about the poem. According to the poem The Inchcape Rock. The Inchcape Rock by Robert Southey is a ballad that tells us about the legend of the Inchcape Rock, a reef in the North Sea about 18 km off the east coast of Angus, Scotland. The story is about the good abbot of Aberbrothock and the devilish Sir Ralph the rover. The abbot achieved the great feat of installing a bell on the dangerous Inchcape Rock that had previously caused many shipwrecks. His bell rang during the storm and issued an alert for the passing ship, so the seaman knew where the rock is and could avoid the danger of an accident. They blessed the abbot of his good work, but it was the rover who felt jealous at the fame of the abbot and planned to cut down the bell from the Inchcape Rock. And so he did. This Ralph the rover was actually a sea parrot, so he needed to destroy the bell to accomplish his desire. The robs more ships by putting them in danger. But finally, he himself was the victim of the Inchcape Rock. One day, his ship was left in the midst of storm, lost the direction and crashed against the rock. Thus the rover was punished for his sinful work. Here the poet Robert Southey delivers a message through his poem, As you sow, so you shall reap. So the poem The Inchcape Rock is didactic in nature like most of the Southey's poem. The poem is a bit long as the ballad should be. It consists of 17 stanzas of 4 lines each. The first 2 and the last 2 lines of each stanza rhyming with each other. So the rhyming scheme is AABB for each stanza. Now look at the first stanza. I'll explain about first stanza. The Inchcape Rock. No stir in the air, no stir in the air, no stir in the sea. The ship was as still as she could be. Her sails from heaven received no motion. Her keel was steady in the ocean. According to the first stanza, in the first stanza of the poem, the poet described the calmness of the sea, the air, the sea, the ship. All were still. The sails of the ship were getting no motion from the wind. Its keel was steady in the ocean. Second stanza, without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. Without either sign or sound for their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape Rock. So little they rose, so little they fell. They did not move the Inchcape bell. In second stanza, describe the mild sea waves. The waves were rising and falling so little that they did not make any sign or sound. The waves were gently flowing over the Inchcape Rock without moving or ringing the bell. Look at the third stanza. The abbot of Aberbrothock had placed that bell on the Inchcape Rock. On a buoy in the storm, it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rung. In the third stanza is about the bell. The good old abbot of Aberbrothock positioned the Inchcape bell there on the Inchcape Rock. During the storm, it floated on a bayou and rang widely, swung by the high tides to alert everyone that the dangerous rock was there. Next stanza. When the rock was hit by the surge swell, the mariners heard the warning bell, and then they knew the perilous rock and blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. In the next four lines, the poet tells us how the bell guided. The poet tells us how the bell guided the mariners in the bad weather. The seamen could not see the rock as it stay hidden under the high waves during the storm, but they could hear the ringing bell and went away from the perilous means dangerous rock. So the bell saved their lives. Then the seafarers blessed the abbot for his good job. In next stanza, the sun in heaven was shining gay. The sun in heaven was shining gay. All things were joyful on that day. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled around. The seabirds screamed as they wheeled round, and there was a joyance in their sound. The fifth stanza delivers a cheerful atmosphere, as it generally happens before every disasters on the particular bright day. Everything looked joyful. The seabirds were wheeling over the sea and screaming a joy. Next stanza. The bayou of the Inchcape bell was seen a darker speck on the ocean green. Sir Ralph the rower walked his deck, and he fixed his eye on the darker speck. In the sixth stanza of the poem, Sir Ralph is introduced for the first time. On that fine day, the bayou means an anchored floating sign to show the reef on the Inchcape Rock was clearly visible, as it was the blackish spot in the green ocean. Sir Ralph the rower went onto the deck of his vessel and gazed at dark spot of the bayou. Next stanza. He felt the cheering power of spring. It made him whistle. It made him sing. His heart was mirthful to excess, but the rower's mirth was weakness. In the next stanza, deals the Ralph's feelings and thoughts. He was delighted at the good spring's atmosphere. He was making whistling sound and singing a joy. He was actually overjoyed, but no one knew that a sinful thought in his mind was behind this happiness. In the next stanza, his eye was on the Inchcape float. Quoth he, my men put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape Rock. and I will plague you the abbot of Aberbrothok. Next one, in the 8th stanza, the rover himself speaks and reveals his desire. His eyes were fixed on the floating bio on the Inchcape Rock. Sir Ralph the rover ordered his crew to take the boat to the Inchcape Rock. Then he says that he is going to plague you, means kill or to destroy. Plague you means kill or destroy the good work of the abbot of Aberbrothok. Look at the next line. The boat is lowered, the boatmen row, and to the Inchcape Rock they go. Sir Ralph bent over from the boat and he cut the bale from the Inchcape float. In next stanza, describe that the rover's men took the boat to the Inchcape Rock. Took the boat in Inchcape Rock. Then there he bent over the boat and cut the bale from the rock. Next stanza, down sunk the bell with a gurgling sound. Down sunk the bell with a gurgling sound. The bubbles rose and burst round. Quoth Sir Ralph, the next who comes to the rock won't bless the abbot of Aberbrothok. In next stanza, pictures how the bell was sinking down, making the bubbling sound. Bubbles rose and burst around. Sir Ralph was happy, thinking that the bell would save no more ships and the seaman would no longer bless to the abbot. Next stanza, Sir Ralph the rover sailed away. He scoured the seas for many a day, and now grown rich with plunder's day store, he steered his course for Scotland shore. Sir Ralph the rover then sailed away from the rock. Thereafter he had robbed and looted many ships, which met accidents crashing to the Inchcape Rock. He is now a rich man with all the looted treasures, and today he is going to the Scotland shore with his ship. Next one. So thick heads spread the sky, they cannot see the sun on high. So thick heads spread the sky, they cannot see the sun on high. The wind hath blown a gale all day, at evening it hath died away. The 12th stanza describes the gloomy atmosphere on the day the rover is sailing to Scotland. The 12th stanza describes the gloomy atmosphere on the day the rover is sailing to Scotland. The sun is hidden behind the thick fog. The sun is hidden behind the thick fog. Strong winds were blowing all the day, and now in the evening it has stopped blowing. And now in the evening it has stopped blowing. On the deck, the rover takes its stand. On the deck, the rover takes its stand. So dark it is, they see no land. Quoth Sir Ralph, it will be lighter soon, for there is a dawn of the rising moon. In the next stanza, The next four lines continues the gloom. The rover is now on the deck of the ship. They can't see the lands as it is very dark. They can't see lands as it is very dark. Sir Ralph assures that the moon will appear soon and so there will be light. Thank you.